Known as the flower of the Caribbean or the rum capital of the world, Martinique offers a mix of impressive landscapes and fascinating history, and the summer never ends. It's an irresistible blend of French and Caribbean culture, creating an interesting blend. Would Martinique be your retirement destination? Hello everyone, this is Ronan Blue, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. This channel is all about how my girlfriend and I achieved financial independence and debt freedom 3 years back since paying off our mortgage. With my newfound freedom, I talk about how we made it happen, the types of passive income we have that anyone could implement, our thoughts of early retirement overseas, personal thoughts, and general financial issues. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our weekly content full of information helping you get to financial independence yourself. Today's topic would be on the 8 best reasons to retire to Martinique. Just as a disclaimer, the information provided is a general guide and to be used for educational purposes only. Now, Martinique is a beautiful island. It has everything you can expect from a perfect holiday, and people who go there on a holiday end up thinking of retirement there. Now, let's look at some of the points as to the reasons why. Number 1. Culture in Martinique. Today, Martinique is known as the Island of Flowers, Yachty's Haven. But it does have a rich history. The Carib Indian population had been initially living in Martinique, but disappeared after Europeans arrived, partly as a result of disease, conflicts with the Europeans, and assimilation. It was first sighted by Christopher Columbus during his second voyage to the region in 1493, but he only got to explore the island on his fourth voyage in 1502. In 1635, the French began colonizing the island, making sugarcane plantations and building manors, and eventually bringing slaves to the island to work on the fields. Today, people of mixed European and African ancestry account for more than 9/10 of the population. In 1674, Martinique was declared a territory of France. Despite numerous incursions by the British, the French remained in control of the island. Martinique is about 50 miles, 80 kilometers long, and reaches a maximum width of 22 miles or 35 kilometers. Among the smallest of the French overseas territories, Martinique has one of the highest population densities in the Antilles. The population of Martinique as of 2019 is a total of 385,000 people. It doesn't just have the beautiful Caribbean island, it also has a French influence in its culture. If the tropical environment wasn't around, visitors could easily believe they were in France, and it has been shaped by African, West Indian, and Creole traditions. But as being part of France, the people of Martinique are considered French citizens, and the official language of the island is French. The majority here keep their French heritage, and the majority would be Roman Catholics, and the island enjoys one of the higher standards of living in the Caribbean, partly due to the wage scale linked to that of metropolitan France. Number 2. Places to live in Martinique. Most Americans don't even know about this island, but the French really do, and it's a great retirement destination. Let's talk about some of the cities. Fort-de-France is a main city and capital, having one of the most beautiful bays in the world. There's an international airport and several beautiful white sand beaches and resorts, as well as apartments and large homes for sale. It has its narrow winding streets where you can visit the markets, the cafes with hummingbirds, and one of the beautiful public parks and gardens. But the island has stunning landscapes with rainforests, mountains, and beaches, but it's most well known for its harbors. You can enjoy your breakfast every morning looking over the views and to see the city's famed hills dotted with colorful houses. There are a lot of active things to do in Martinique you can do in your retirement, like diving, snorkeling, and hiking the extensive trails, past the waterfalls and lush scenery. You can also choose to stay on the south side of the island near beautiful fishing villages in Les Torres Islets. Torres de Islets is famous for its snorkeling, sandwiches, and pastries. It's very touristy but provides a good home base for those looking to explore the island during the day and have restaurants and shops within walking distance of their homes. It also has creamy white beaches that many say are the best on the island. It's actually known as a good spot to start exploring by boat or to get into a car for a road trip. You can even get a ferry to Fort-de-France for the bigger city vibe when you feel like it. Le Diamant. This is where some nice beaches are in this beach town, where many live and buy real estate for investment. There are a lot of new villas to be found. It's a largely undiscovered village in the south of Martinique that just might be the Caribbean's next great beach town. It's developing with many more restaurants opening and fish markets. Number 3. Food in Martinique. Martinique's cuisine is a rich fusion of French, African, and Creole flavors, with seafood taking the spotlight. There's conch, crab, and lobster that are given a French edge with creamy sauces. Some of the traditional dishes are combined with global influences that use a range of local fruit, vegetables, fish, and meat. Let's look at a few. Accra. This is a form of fritter and probably the most famous and most common dish in the Caribbean. They are most frequently made with saltfish, prawns, and vegetables. In Martinique, they are made from a batter in which saltfish is the main ingredient, mixed with spices. Martinicans eat this dish as an appetizer, a snack, or sometimes as a breakfast item. Boudin. These are local sausages from pork, pig's blood, onion, and other ingredients. There's also a white sausage made from pork without the blood, and sometimes featuring prawns, crabs, sea snail, or the sea conch or fish. They can be eaten hot or cold and are a traditional food during Christmas. Colombo dishes. Tamil laborers began arriving in Martinique and other French Caribbean islands and brought curry with them. The islands adopted and adapted a spice blend and named it Colombo, after the city of Sri Lanka from where many of the laborers traveled. It's mild when compared to most curry spice blends from the Indian subcontinent, but it flavors fish, chicken, goat, and pork in Martinique, and a stew containing carrots, mangoes, and coconut milk. Number 4. Things to do in Martinique. Martinique is a widely popular and beautiful Caribbean island that has its ivory white sand beaches, volcanic remains, panoramic views, lush green deep rainforests, and a distinct blend of West Indian and French cultures. Let's see some of the things you can do here. See dolphins and snorkel with turtles. Up in the northern coast of Martinique, you'll be able to spot dolphins in the wild, where the views of the island are just as remarkable from the sea. You'll also be able to snorkel with some colorful fish and even a few sea turtles. Explore shipwrecks. Another fun activity in Martinique is discovering the shipwrecks. You can dive into seawater to discover wrecks of the ships. There are even special submarines you can ride on with glass windows to watch the shipwrecks. You'll see colorful, beautiful fish swimming around. Caravel Peninsula. If you're a nature lover, you'll find many things to see and do at the Caravel Peninsula in eastern Martinique. There are hikes through mangrove forests with views over the rugged eastern coastline where you'll see more than 150 species of local plants and many species of birds. The town of Tartan stretches along a swimming beach where you can find rows of restaurants. It's a popular spot for surfers as well. Number 5. Cost of living in Martinique. Martinique imports a large volume of products like food, drink, and gasoline. That means nothing here comes at a low cost and has inflated prices. And because Martinique is a French territory, they also use the euro as currency. Most expats who retire in Martinique find the cost of living to be somewhat higher than their home country. All Martinique restaurants include a 15% service charge in the bill, but you can also add a bit more if the service is good. A meal at an inexpensive restaurant would be $15, between $13.68 and $16.44. A meal for 2 people at a mid-range restaurant for a 3-course meal would be $60, between $45 and $125. There are a number of places you can choose to live in as well, from apartments to villas to houses, but let's look at the average rental prices for apartments. An apartment 1-bedroom in city center would be an average of $1,290 per month. An apartment 1-bedroom outside the city center would be an average of $1,021. An apartment 3 bedrooms in city center would be an average of $2,097 USD per month. An apartment 3 bedrooms outside the city center would be an average of $1,640 USD per month. Basic utilities for an apartment would be $152, between $138 and $202 USD per month. The internet would be $63, between $57 and $87 USD per month. Expat life in Martinique is much different than the United States. The cost of living can be higher, but there are ways to live more frugally. It all depends on what you're looking for. But if you have more simplicity and minimalistic living, then there shouldn't be much problem settling in. If you live like the locals, there are ways around the cost of living as well. Number 6. Buy property in Martinique. Martinique is a little bit of France in the heart of the Caribbean. Property for sale in Martinique ranges from Creole-style cottages to villas overlooking the island's beautiful bays. Foreigners could buy property in Martinique, and investment from overseas buyers is welcome. As in France, there are no restrictions on foreign buyers acquiring real estate in Martinique. For non-French and non-European Union buyers, there is a further process. Applying for permission and clearance is like moving to France. Martinique uses the same real estate classifications as used in France. T1 are studio apartments, T2 are 1-bedroom apartments, and T3 are 2-bedroom apartments. Buying property in Martinique is a relatively simple process of starting your property search, finding your property, and making an offer. Then a purchase and sales agreement will be prepared by a notary. You'll pay a deposit of 10%, and sales are normally closed in 1 to 3 months, at which time a deed of sale will be officially registered. Martinique does enjoy a high standard of living in comparison to other countries in the Caribbean, so most of the properties here are built for the well-off. Number 7. Healthcare in Martinique. Medical and healthcare facilities on Martinique are considered to be one of the best in the Eastern Caribbean islands. The healthcare system in Martinique consists of public and private sectors. There are around 20 hospitals and clinics located on the island, most of which have outstanding facilities and specialists in every branch of medicine. There are no vaccination requirements to enter the country, but there are a few health issues that may affect travelers, like overexposure to the sun, where it's suggested you bring a lot of sunscreen and drink plenty of water to avoid dehydration. Some insect bites are also a problem for people spending a lot of time outside. You'll need to wear mosquito repellent where there have been cases discovered of dengue fever through mosquito bites. It's also mentioned to be up to date on common vaccines such as hepatitis A and B, tetanus, and measles boosters before traveling to foreign countries. It's highly recommended that expats should get international health insurance before entering Martinique. Medical costs for private doctors' fees and accessing treatment in Martinique can be very expensive. Number 8. How to live in Martinique. Martinique is an overseas territory of France, but it's not part of the Schengen zone. Like in Europe, and Martinique has its own visa policy. Citizens of the EU and the EEA are permitted to remain in Martinique for an unlimited period without a visa. Citizens of USA, Canada, and many countries in the Caribbean and Latin America are permitted to remain on the island for a holiday for up to 3 months without a visa. For those in the US, you'll need a passport with 6 months validity and 1 blank passport page. Extended stays requires a visa, but you'll need to also present your return flight ticket when you arrive on the island. The requirements for obtaining a long stay visa in Martinique are similar to those in effect for France. You can stay longer in Martinique if you apply for a long stay visa at a French consulate. Applicants must be able to demonstrate that they have sufficient funds to support themselves during their stay in Martinique, or in the case of retirees and pensioners, provide proof of income from a pension or retirement plan. Applicants will be required to attend an interview in person, and decisions are typically made within 30 days. I wasn't able to find a specific amount, unfortunately. It may be on a case-by-case basis. Individuals who have lawfully resided in Martinique for 5 years can apply for French permanent residence permit, valid for 10 years, and can be renewed. Visa requirements are needed for long stays, and most depend on where you're from. There's actually no American embassy, yet there are representatives. The process seems to take time, but the process isn't too difficult. While there are a lot of Americans who don't know about Martinique, where the main language is French, it's not the most popular destination, but still a hidden gem. It's almost like how Hawaii is part of the US, but far from the mainland. It's a French Hawaii. Although it is a great place, let's look at some of the cons. There are a few crimes to be concerned about, mostly include items stolen out of cars or stolen phones. Murders are not common and seem to be more domestic. There's a gap between the rich and the poor, and poverty is an issue that is looking to be improved. But the major hurdle would be the language barrier. Martinique's official language is French, but many island residents speak Creole as well. Although it's possible to find English speakers in the tourist areas, you can bring a French dictionary or phrasebook. You'll be received more warmly if you attempt to speak the language. Martinique also falls under the French monetary system, making the euro the island's official currency, so you'll need to exchange your money. It's also true that many stores close by 6, no later than 8. Even grocery stores are open till 6, Monday through Friday, and 12 p.m. on Saturday. But there may be smaller stores that may be open past this time. There's Mount Pelly as well, which is a volcano that doesn't erupt often. The last time reported was in 1929, but when it does, the aftermath can be devastating, so you should always be aware. But overall, Martinique is a beautiful side of the Caribbean that is often overlooked, and it could be a fantastic retirement destination. Well, tell me what you think of Martinique in the comment section below. If you like this vlog, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell for more of my coming content here. Thank you for watching my vlog. Be free, gain wealth, and travel far.